We've got our IO ladder here. We've got our IO function blocks here. Let's go ahead and open the IO function blocks. And I'm just going to toggle back and forth between these two so that I don't miss anything. And I know I'm setting everything up pretty similar. So the first thing I know was that I started with my digital outputs. So digital outputs, because I really don't need to do anything for my digital inputs. So I've got that, and first thing I want to do is I want to come over here and call in an assignment. So let's bring that block right here. And for this assignment, the input for now, I'm just going to put true as a placeholder. So whatever assignments I use, they're just going to be true all the time. So let's look back at my ladder. I've got my oil pump VFD, brake, alarm horn, and station interlock. Okay, so let's start with that oil pump VFD. Got it. I'm going to Control C, Control V, and I want to bring that down here below. We've got our brake. Bring that down here. We've got our alarm horn. One more block down here. Oh, come on. There we go. And that was our station interlock. All right, and let's copy this true value. True, true, true. We're going to replace those trues with other logic later on once we set up our HOAs, but for now, we've got those as placeholders. Next thing we set up was our analog outputs, so let's do that right here. And we could use our SCP block, or we could use the two other blocks, the scale and the normalize. So I'm not really a fan of using those two blocks, but maybe we'll go ahead and do our outputs using those two blocks, and I'll do the inputs using our much more improved, cooler SCP block. So let's bring in here a normalize, let's bring in a scale, and these are outputs, so we know we need our 27,648 and 0 there. That's going to be the values that we're scaling to for those outputs. We know we're going to need a temp value that goes in between here. So I'll just go ahead and set up TV for now, and I'll define it later. And then input values for whatever we're using. So let's look back over here at our ladders and see what we did. The first thing we have is our oil pump VFD speed, and we were using % on that. Perfect. So right here, oil pump VFD % is the value coming in, and oil pump VFD speed out is what's going out. And since that's a %, 0 to 100, let's make it true so that it energizes all the time. Define our temp value, and that's going to be a local temp real. And on our scale, we'll set that to real in to int out. All right, we've got one of these blocks, Control C, Control V for the second one, and the second one was our baffle. So let's go ahead and we'll have baffle out right there. We'll have baffle % there, and guess what? That one is already done. That one was a real easy setup. Now we can move on to our analog inputs. And for these, I'm definitely going to go back to using our fancy block that we created because, hey, what's the point of having it if you're not going to use it? And I'll just drag that down here. There's the block, true all the time. And for our signals coming in, that's where we're going to have our 0 to 27,648. And then let's jump back to our ladder and see what we've got here. So we are starting with oil temp, and our oil temp is from 0 to 500. Okay, perfect. Let's get back over there, and we're scaling to create our oil temp. Whoa, that is not it. Oil temp. And our input signal is, that's in the wrong place. That should be oil temp in. There's our 27,648 on the max. Why do I keep getting that wrong? 27,648 on the max. Oil temp in on the input signal. Is it right? Did it stay? Did it jump around? Good, okay. And our min and max on that, what was that? 0 to 500? Correct. So output min 0, 500. Perfect. Let's copy that, paste another one down here below. And what's the next one that we're working with here? We've got our oil flow from 0 to 30. Perfect. 0 to 30. Oil flow in to set up oil flow. Well, that was quick. Moving right along. What was after oil flow? Next we had RPMs from 0 to 200. So let's set that 200. RPM in and RPM being set. We're burning through these guys, aren't we? These are a lot faster than setting them up the first time. It's nice to have something you can copy and paste off of. Last thing we've got is our current from 0 to 700. So make that output max 700, current in, and creating current. All right.